Hello, hello. My name is Red, and welcome to a new podcast. The name is currently to be decided because I couldn't come up with a name in time to film and record this first episode. But welcome. What is this podcast going to entail? Honestly, at the moment, not too sure. I've always wanted to do something like this, and it's taken me a long time to actually just get up and do it. But I'm really excited because not only have I been told for ages that I have a voice of somebody who should be doing podcasts, it's just something that's always interested me, and I really do love the idea behind podcast, the idea of just shooting this shit either on a live stream or on a podcast with friends, and I think this could be a lot of fun. What am I going to be talking about on the podcast? Once again, just shooting the shit, talking about a variety of different topics that interest me, from gaming, war of rights, to, YouTube stuff, to Twitch stuff, really just anything that's interested me for the week. This could also be like history. I'm a huge history kind of guy. I love that shit. I love the Civil War period. That's a whole fun time. But I'm also super down to talk about anything, and talk about every period from modern day to medieval to ancient to industrial to Civil War to World War II, World War One. I'm a huge history guy, but I'm also always down to talk about shit like tech. I'm a programmer and education, fuck it, that too. Just really anything that interests me on that day, honestly. And the whole beauty behind what I want to do with this podcast is that I don't want it to be scripted, or at the very least, very limited scripted, because I feel like that ruins, kind of some of the magic of a podcast sometimes is when it's, obviously scripted, and it's not like you're really listening to somebody talk to you. And I want this to be kind of podcast that you can put on and listen to, and it's like you're shooting the shit with a friend. Because honestly, those are the ones that I prefer, and those are the ones I find really great, and I think I'm not alone in that. And if I am, that's unfortunate, but I'm fairly certain that a lot of people are in that with me in that regard, because there's a lot of fun to be had in just shooting the shit with people and talking to people and just generally hanging out. So yeah, on that note, that's really what I want to do with this, and where I want to take this, and I want to bring on, different friends and people, from people in the gaming community I'm in, ninthcore.org, Civil War group, to outside of my group, to people, elsewhere in our, War of Rights, Civil War gaming community, to people even outside of that, even if it comes to that point. I just want this to be something fun, something that people want to be on, something that is super chill, and something that people just want to listen to, tune to and listen to when they're doing work, or if they're just wanting to, feel like they're talking to somebody, because I feel like that's a lot of fun. So, once again, or not really once again, more, pilot episode now, what are we talking about today? And also on that same note, how long are these podcasts going to be? By the way, I am sorry if it seems a little unorganized. Part of the beauty of it, we're just shooting the shit, having some fun. And how long is it going to be? Yeah. Honestly, at this moment, I'm thinking around 30 minutes to 45, maybe an hour. I think it's a pretty sweet spot for a podcast. Anything longer is a little too much sometimes. Anything shorter isn't really enough. So I think 45 minutes to an hour would be a fun amount of time to keep a podcast going, and I think ample enough time to have conversations, keep it interesting, and save room for more conversations later on. So now that I've gotten all that pilot stuff out of the way, the intro stuff out of the way, let's do introductions. So once again, my name is Red. I am 19 years old. I am from New York, and I am currently a college student studying computer science. Not super interesting, I know. I could dive into one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite movies, but honestly, is that super interesting? It could be, maybe. The answer to those varies depending on the mood. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But for right now, that's really baseline who I am. what do I do on here? I'm pretty active in a couple communities. I do a lot of sim racing, but my big thing is in War of Rights, and I run the 9th New York. It's a regiment in War of Rights, and as nerdy and geeky as it might sound, it's a whole lot of fun. It's a Civil War game, and it's a fucking blast. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. Fucking people like Pixelated Apollo and this YouTuber General Cody HD, who's kind of an inside joke at times in the community. We all play it. We all have a lot of fun on it, and it has a lot of value in just being a really cool outlet. And a really cool medium for exploring history, living history, and really exploring the Civil War if you want to get into the educational aspect of it, which isn't nearly as fun, but it's still pretty relevant, I think. Speaking of War of Rights, you know me a tad now, but let's talk about the thing I'm pretty active in, War of Rights. Like I said, it's a Civil War game. It's a Civil War simulation. That's a better way to describe it. And, aside from the fact that it's an indie game, it's pretty advanced, and us in the community, we shit on the developers often for not releasing updates fast enough, for not doing enough with the community really, but for what they've done so far and the time that they've had, it's pretty incredible. The fact there can be a community for a game like that, a Civil War game that isn't fully developed, that has plenty of bugs and issues, and to be frank, pieces of shit in the community is pretty incredible. And the fact that we as a community have also made it last for years now is also pretty incredible. And we've just got a lot of really great people in the community, and the game itself is pretty fun. But it's really only fun, like really fun, if you're with a group of people, to be completely honest, and take that as you will. But if you do check out War of Rights, you will not have nearly as much fun as you could have if you were playing with a group. Just like with a lot of other things, just like with fucking Arma or DayZ or something. It's not nearly as fun to play solo. The real fun comes when you're playing with a group. And then, the same thing is true for War of Rights. You could say unfortunately, you could say fortunately. I think it's a good thing. I think it's something that keeps, the essence of the game there, because, the Civil War regiments and unit individualism and stuff, and that's really what the game exemplifies best, with its strong focus on communities and regiments outside of the game itself. So yeah, check it out. Play it. Join the 9th Corps. ixcorps.org once again. This will probably be oftentimes a huge advertisement for it, but I promise you it's not all it's going to be, because I don't think I'm boring. I think I can be a pretty interesting person. If I seem pretty off at the moment, or if I seem like I'm boring right now, I'm hoping that you'll change your mind as time goes on. But I do apologize, because maybe I should write things down. Maybe I should write topics down to talk about, so I'm not completely lost when it comes to this stuff sometimes. But at the same time, isn't maybe part of the fun is just you guys hearing me talk to myself, trying to figure out what to talk about next. Because the ramblings of a madman, that might be fun too. Oh yeah, and I love jumping from topic to topic. My brain will go on either long tangents that last for a while, or I'll just skip between different things I want to talk about, because my brain is going really fast and my mouth just can't keep up. Not that I'm a genius, not that I'm saying I'm really smart, but I'm running 3 different topics in my head sometimes, and I just can't pick them both all at the same time. You know what I mean? And that's a little frustrating, because I want that, but I will make do with what I got. So. Back to the podcast. Actually, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. Who are the people going to be called on this podcast? I'm thinking about calling them the council. The council. And whenever it's just me, it'll be just a normal name of the podcast, which is still TBD. But if I got the homies on here on the podcast shooting the shit with me and talking my stuff with me, I think adding the council. Blah ... would be a fun little twist, and kind of cool, honestly, kind of funny. because the council sounds both stupid and yet intriguing if you see it on YouTube or wherever this is. The council takes on war crimes, fucking Japanese war crimes, or the Civil War. Once again, it's gonna come up again and again because I'm hosting this in that Civil War community I'm in, and it's just such a prevalent part of my online stuff now. Civil War is hard to not talk about sometimes, although I do promise there's a lot more than that alone. But stuff like that, like the council takes on Civil War, or the council takes on, fucking YouTube, honestly. Just talk shit about YouTube for an hour and a half or an hour. You can definitely do that. Or even, racing. I'm a huge racing and motorsport fan. I do a lot of sim racing, and I think that'll be a fun thing to talk about too, is like Formula One. There's plenty of people that I know who love Formula One, who would gladly talk shit about Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton, or praise them, because there's plenty you can easily do both with that guy and that team. Also, quick shout out to Mercedes for the longest pit stop I think in history. It's at like 43 hours and something minutes, but yeah, 43-hour pit stop I think now, which is pretty incredible, pretty cash money, honestly. And Mercedes, keep doing your thing, man. Keep going at it. I'm proud of you. But honestly, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about right now. This is really just meant to be a intro to the podcast, a pre-episode 1 kind of thing. A pilot episode to kind of explain what I'm going to be doing on here, to introduce myself to you guys, whoever's listening, and to really just kind of set the foundation up for what I'm hoping is going to be a fun, project that I can work on and keep going for a while. Because, once again, I think podcasts are a lot of fun. I think talking to the microphone and with people and just having conversations on mic that people can listen in on, and even one day potentially throw their input in there. That'd be really cool, actually, if we had people who listened or watch this on YouTube who want to have their opinions on, and we talk about it on stream or on podcast. That'd be a lot of fucking fun too. But I'm not gonna think ahead of myself. I do that often, and I'm not gonna let that. I'm not gonna do it this time because probably not the best idea to just assume this will become big. Although of course that'd be great, but I hope, if it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'd still probably do it because I'm having a lot of fun even just talking to the microphone right now. And if it does, it does, and either way, I'm excited to see what happens with it, to be completely real with you. So on that note, it's been around 13 minutes. I don't have a whole lot to say once again at the moment. Nothing really popping up to mind on topic, except I'm Red, or you can call me John. That's also my name. My name is John. And whatever works best, honestly. A lot of people call me Red. That's just what I'm used to when it comes to online shit. But call me John. That works too. So on that note, I'm going to say it again. I think that's it. I think that's it for the intro episode of this podcast, which is still to be determined. I really don't know what to call it, honest to God. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just leave it at TBD podcast. And we'll see what comes with that. But then again, I think that's also actually been done. So, that'd be kind of annoying to copy somebody. I don't want to do that. So, for right now, we'll just call it TBD. Fuck it. TBD podcast. And if it changes, it changes. And if not, maybe that'll be a cool thing to have it be called. Fuck it. So I wish you all a great day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in a proper episode 1, with actual topics and conversation. But right now, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching or listening, and join 9th New York. I gotta throw it in there. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you. Bye.